Hey there everybody, on this beautiful fall day here in Drona. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go on a ATV ride on one of our favorite routes and just talk about life. Right now I'm on the Via Verde heading towards Court out of town, and absolutely stunning. And of course I'm on the Sklar PBJ. It is set up in basket packing mode, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay because it's super windy. I think this time in Missoula, first snows would have started happening, dipping within below freezing, and kind of it would be shuttering up the bikes for the year. But here it's kind of just starting. It's our favorite time of year. We're off the dirt part of the trail, but don't fret. There's going to be a pretty good gravel climb coming up. One thing you probably would have noticed is that Laura isn't with me. She actually injured her thumb on a bike ride a couple weeks ago and has been kind of out of commission. So I've just been riding solo, which turns out is actually pretty boring. Another big change, if you guys are Patreon members, would know, is that I had a birthday, and I'm old. Trust me guys, I'm a lot older than you guys may think. Anyways, as with every birthday, I just get really depressed. I do this kind of summary of my life. What have I accomplished? Is this all worth it? What am I doing? I look back and question what I've accomplished. Has it been worth the time? What's funny is if you're a YouTuber, you get an email that tells you when it's your channel's birthday. And her channel had a birthday recently, I think last month. That had just turned 18. The channel's had a ton of ups and downs in those 18 years. Kind of like this little mini respite we get from the climbing for a little bit. Lots of low points, some high points, and I don't know. It's just a lot to think about. 18 years, that's not quite half my life, but a significant portion of my life spent doing the YouTubes. Granted, I wasn't taking it seriously all 18 years, probably doing that since 2017. At least 8 years seriously, but 10 years prior to that, kind of uploading intermittently just for fun. Whew. Steep little kicker here. And there were a lot of points just within the last 7 years that I felt like quitting. One moment was really kind of after we moved to Missoula. I couldn't find work. Laura was working at Adventure Cycling, and I decided to go full time with YouTube. And it was such a grind. I don't know if you guys were watching back then, but there was a period when I was putting out, 3, 4, 5 videos a week. During COVID, I was doing 4 videos a week. I think when we were going through Laura's cancer treatment, I was still doing 3 to 4 videos a week just to occupy my mind. And there was lots of times when I felt like quitting, primarily because YouTube is one of those things where you put in so much effort and you get such little reward. It was like the hardest $600 a month I was working for. I think it was around then that someone had mentioned, you should really start a Patreon, see where it goes. And I did. And to be honest, without Patreon, I would not be doing this. Because some people signed up, it was a real struggle to get, any significant numbers. But during COVID, there's a big boost. I think everyone got a big boost. And a lot of those people have stuck around. And that's why we're still able to do this. Because AdSense by itself, stickers by itself, which is really slowed down, by the way, this would not be possible. So big ups to our Patreon members, because you literally have kept this channel alive. But beyond that point, there's been lots of instances. I feel like every 3 months I question my life decisions about whether I should keep doing this or get another job or what have you. I'm sure that's probably the first reaction some people have, is just get other work. Right now that's not possible. Conditions of our visa is we have to be employed outside of Spain. So 13%. Man, I hope I have low enough gears for this ride. Okay, so where am I going with this video? Well, part of it is just a life check-in. Looks like there's some hunting going on here. I don't think I've done one of these in a while. And one thing I've been really struggling with is just the algorithm. I know every YouTuber complains about it, but that's true, guys. I get lots of comments about people complaining about the clickbaity titles, but to be fair, if you actually watch the videos and don't get just triggered by a JPEG and some pixel text, I generally address what's in the thumbnail and title. But that's just how it's rigged. You know, gone are the days when I could, do a very literal title and people would click on it, That's why you never see things like, Surly Midnight Special Review. That stuff just doesn't work anymore. So I hate it. I hate that I have to play that game, that I have to spend as much time thinking about how to convince you to click on the title and thumbnail as I do making the actual video. So I feel your pain, but at the same time, hola, buen día. But hopefully at the same time, you guys can feel my pain, or a little bit of why I am put in the spot to have to do that. I only have bandwidth to make a certain number of videos per week, per month, and those videos have to perform at a given level so we can pay for rent and food and meet the financial conditions of our visa. So given that, and given that I can't just go find another job, I have to participate a bit in the spicy title and thumbnail game. Trust me, it's just as frustrating for me as it is for you guys. Some videos I put in so much work and really want it to do well because I feel like it's informative, tells a good story, highlights a cool business. But unless I can nail that thing that makes it clicky, no one's gonna watch it. People say they don't want clickbaity titles and thumbnails, but their actions kind of speak otherwise. Hola, buen día.
Buen día.
¿Todo bien?
Sí.
Sí, creo. Anyways, let's talk about bikes for a second. So again, on the Sklar PBJ, currently Dior rear derailleur, 11 to 51 cassette, 36 tooth chainring, and I may lower the chainring on this. I think my plan with this bike was to do an actual tour this month. But that's been pushed back a bit because Laura hurt her wrist. We can't do that trip, which is a bummer because it's a really cool route. But I think I'm gonna change the chainring to 32 for actual loaded touring. Whew. Not even super loaded at the moment, and it's work getting up these steeper grades. This bike is super fun. I feel like Adam really nailed it in terms of how it handles. I do kind of miss the curvy top tube aesthetic, you know, that he's kind of known for. I'm sure the more cynical of you will be like, well, that's just the Ogre or Karate Monkey or inserts early at this point. I don't know, it's really well thought out. No weird dropouts or anything like that. I mean, I think the one thing that would level this up is doing it in tie or even kind of thinner tubing. Oh, I want to probably get a little bit noodly, but hey, that's just suppleness, right? Let me tell you a little bit about this route that you've been all patiently suffering through with me. It's in our new ride guide to Girona that Laura has been working on diligently. You know, when we first got here, there are lots of like roadie routes and training routes, you know, high mileage, also high traffic, just because the people that tend to ride those routes have a higher traffic tolerance. And it's actually quite difficult to find shorter routes that were interesting. And it's taken us, I don't know, basically the last 2 years to kind of ride all the roads within a close radius and put them together to form interesting, very low traffic routes. That's not to say that they're all flat. I think this one does over 2,000 feet in about 25 miles, so fairly climby. So that was the impetus of the ride guide. We wanted to have a collection of routes that suited our style. Now, these are routes that you can do when you're visiting, you know, bang them out in the morning. You've got plenty of time to walk through Old Town, do other plans, and they just fit into kind of the rhythm of our life. So this route is one of them, and leaves Girona, goes out via rail trail, and then you climb this thing into the Gavares. That's where we're in right now. One thing I like about this route is it's climby, but it's all front loaded, so you get all the climbing done in the first half, and after certain points just kind of downhill or flat to home. I think this particular stretch gets used in the Traca, but they go down it, not up it. So that's the deal with this route. And I'm riding it today because next week it's supposed to cool down quite a bit. Okay, I think a little break from the climbing and then up we go again. Whew. Actually, I'll film a little bit of the downhill just so you guys don't think it's all uphill the entire way. Just the first half. This area is really nice. It kind of reminds me of parts of Eastern Oregon, a little bit of Idaho. We've got some pine, some oak, occasional hunters. If you're wondering what they're hunting, it's the wild boar, which have become fairly problematic in the area. And one cool thing actually is there's an app where you can see all the active hunts, which is cool. I think if you're hunting, you have to register. I would never fly in the States. And put your location. But it's good for cycling because you can avoid kind of those trails or high density hunting areas. Every year, there's always like some story of a cyclist getting accidentally shot by a hunter, or, you know, hunter accidentally shooting their friend or something. Oh, come on, come on. Oh, Jesus. Dang it, wrong line. So anyways, the hunting app is a good beta. I should have checked it actually. I think that it's linked to Laura's ride guide. So check it out. I can usually clear that last one. There's definitely one up here that I haven't cleared. It's just so tore up. I think people go down for the tracker route, which is bananas, especially when it's a wet year. Might be doing a little paseando here in a little bit. Okay, lowest gear. Let's see if we can winch our way up. Oh, it's not so much the steepness, it's just, oh, yeah, that's done. Just doing a little rough stuff. It's okay. Okay, so we've gone about 7.5 miles, climbed about 800 feet, and according to the Garmin, we've got another 500 to go before we get to enjoy the descent. Another thing I want to talk about is, as I get older, to be fair, I've felt this for a while, but I really don't feel like a cyclist. You know, when you Google image search a cyclist, or even just look around at the people in town here who ride, it's not the same. I mean, yeah, we're all on bikes, I guess, but you know, the reasons, the traditions, the philosophy behind why we do the thing, completely different. And I've struggled with this as a bit of a identity crisis for a while, right? Because I've got a YouTube channel about bikes, about cycling, nominally. I'll slip in some fishing and other random stuff now and then. But what does it mean to have a cycling channel but not be like a cyclist, or what industry defines as a cyclist? And again, no offense if you're into that kind of cycling. You know, don't be butthurt. This isn't a criticism of you. It's just I know that I don't fit in that box. I wish I did. Some days I wish, you know, I could be super excited about training and watts and racing, all that stuff. It would make life a lot easier. It would make, honestly, this YouTube channel a lot more lucrative. So that's where all the money is. It's not in this weird alternative cycling that I do. And we'd probably fit in better here in Girona, you know. Whew. Concentrate a little bit. But in our heart of hearts, it's just not who we are. And I don't know at what point you guys started watching the channel or started following us, but we had carbon road bikes. I used to clip in. You know, I had a jersey wearing phase, so it's not like, you know, I didn't try it. I just always felt like an imposter, like I was cosplaying something that I wasn't. I mean, you know, the older I get, it's like, just want to be myself, you know? And if it's not what you're into, it doesn't mean we can't be friends. All right, quick stop to admire the view. Probably doesn't look very impressive on the action cam here, but man, every day I feel really lucky to be able to live here for a while and experience all this. Go left here? Okay. More up. I swear there's a descent after this somewhere. Garmin says 1.2 miles to go, another 300 feet to ascend. Okay, I'm gonna adjust the seat angle a little bit. It's been kind of creeping upwards. Whew. Yeah, just by a little bit. I guess I should show you guys the bike. So, Sklar PBJ. I'm still running the Ortlieb quick release rack from our last tour. Our silver dropper posts, still working awesome. Some great Ritchie boost wheels, Schwalbe tires. This is that weird kind of Tanaka basket specific rack, and their cool half basket. This is the Apidura rack bag, which is totally out of character, but actually works really good. Super stoked on it. PBJ bars, ergon grips. You know, I've had this Revelate top tube bag forever. Just goes with me everywhere I go. It's so handy for putting a phone or the action camera when I'm not filming, goes in there. But yeah, let's see. Maybe I can get a thumbnail somewhere here while I'm stopped. But you see what I mean? It's kind of a pain in the butt to have to constantly think about this stuff. So maybe something like that, or something like this would be a good thumbnail. Some text on the left here maybe. We'll see. Okay, saddle feels much better. I don't feel like I'm being violated anymore, especially when the road goes up. Garmin says 0.9 to go, 198 feet. But otherwise, a nice, really chill day on the bike on this beautiful route, which you guys should totally do if I first pick up our new ride guide. I guess that leads me to another thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, the need to do capitalism to keep this going. You know, I think Laura was sensing that I was getting a little burnt out, and she'd asked me, well, if I didn't have to do YouTube, what would I do? If we had all the monies and I didn't have to think about titles and thumbnails, what would we do, or what would I do? And the thing is, I think I'd still make videos. I just liked the act of, you know, playing with things, creating things, sharing it, filming. Like filming and editing is actually kind of fun for me, which is good because I do a lot of it. But I love the puzzle aspect of it, the creative aspect of it. And And it's just a bummer that the creative part gets tarnished by the money-making part. Do you know what I mean? You know, there's no correlation between how many views and how much money a video will make with how much effort you put into it. Zero correlation. You could have the most amazing video, cinematic, and it shares the secret of life. But if your title and thumbnail sucks, then no one's gonna watch it. You could do a very kind of low effort video, but have a real catchy title and thumbnail, and the video will go gangbusters. So for me, it's that constant kind of stress of trying to do my best, but not be too personally invested because the outcome is not in my hands. At the same time, knowing that I have to hit a minimum benchmark, otherwise the money is gonna look really bad for the month. All of it, because I feel like if the videos didn't have to perform to at least a certain degree to make money, I might make different kind of videos. I'd probably do more trips. Well, trip videos are always a creative challenge. They're on occasion fun, but no one really watches those. You know, I'd do more kind of human interest stuff because I'm always interested in people. But again, depending on the person, no one's going to watch it. What people do watch are gear reviews. People also tend to watch the hack videos, which is a good kind of synergy of something that I like that people will also watch. So that's why you see a lot of those. And those scratch my itch to create, tinker, find something new. This video right here probably won't do well, but it's my first time doing this kind of video. It's actually kind of nice. So if it does do well, maybe I might do more. But again, I can't get too personally invested in it because I can't control the outcome. And I guess to some extent that's just life. It's not a linear path. It's not like if you lift weights you'll grow muscles. This you could just toil away and see no results. Whee! See, it goes downhill. We're done with this part of the dirt climb, and we're gonna hop on some pavement for a little bit and ride a little ridgeline, which is kind of cool. All right, so we're on the pavement for a little bit, and then we've got a little bit more dirt climbing, and then big descent. I think the Garmin said been rolling for about an hour, 20 minutes. Climbed about 1,200 feet. They've gone a little bit less than 10 miles. So the distance isn't great, but pretty good elevation, I think. I think this ride would be perfect on the gravel bike, but with really big tires. Like you guys saw that stuff back there. I'd say at least 45, if not 50. I've done this on the Sklar, the other Sklar, the Super something, with 650B by 50. Feels a little bit underbiked in parts. Okay, so this part's pretty cool because we're on a paved ridge line, and eventually we're gonna go on this dirt road and pop out by Santa Pelaya, which is the second climb of the famous Hincapie Loop, as they like to call it. So if you've done that loop but want to see it from a completely different angle with a lot more dirt, this touches parts of that in a lot more interesting way, I think. Far less traffic also. Just a nice respite from all that dirt climbing. And man, this is good. Days like today just feel so lucky to be able to ride this stuff in our backyard. What's interesting is that Girona is actually cleared out a bit of tourists, but this is like my favorite time. This is our favorite time to ride. It's not humid, it's cooled off. Hotel rates are really cheap because they're about to shutter. So if you can get out to the coast or some lodging property, it's not going to cost you like 400 euro a night. And here we are, just some random, you know, little medieval church, bell tower, up in the mountains. Sign back there says Sant Mateu de Montenegro. I'm assuming that refers to the summit of this church here. And from here, we're gonna hop on a little bit more chonky gravel till the final paved descent. Oof. Oh man, I should have brought some fenders. Forget about this part. This part can be like surprisingly rough sometimes. Just checked out the camera battery and stuff. The battery's fine. Running a little bit low on storage. So I'm gonna be a little bit more judicious about filming because I think I yapped too long in the beginning. But I'll be sure to turn the camera on when we've got more highlights. Although this part's pretty cool too. I mean, if you're curious about what this climb looks like, it's less like big rocks, a little bit sandier, but I do remember a good stretch of washboard somewhere. All right. Ooh. That's where it gets a little chonky here. Ooh. Okay, I lied. There was a little bit of chonk, but it wasn't too bad. I think this is supposed to be a lot more gentler climb than the one we just did. So fewer pitches going above 11%. This kind of reminds me of Marshall Mountain in Missoula. Oh, interesting. We got a car. Let's see you. Oh yeah. Are we at the top yet? Maybe. I don't know. So I think this is like perfect terrain for this PBJ here. You know, rideable with a gravel bike, but here you can kind of open it up a little bit more just because bigger tires, way more comfortable, you can stay in control. Woo. Yeah. Nice. Now I'm bummed that we're not going to be able to do the bike packing trip we had planned. We're going to go out to Cadaqués again. Glad to be able to ride this today. And then the last warmish day of the year, or at least last day where the highs will be in the 70s for the year. Potentially, I don't know. Sometimes there's 80-degree days in December. Who knows? Come on. Okay. Are we at the top now? I mean, I feel like this is wild, right? We're not that far from town. It feels like we're in parts of western Montana. But we're gonna roll downhill and then get a nice coffee and lunch. Yeah. Whew. Perfect bike for this terrain. Love it. So where we should pop out again is we're going to come from above Santa Pelaya and then take that road descent into Casada de la Selva. If you've done the Hincapie loop, then you would have known that. And from there, I'm just gonna take the rail trail back home. The route in the ride guide extends it a little bit just by like, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles, and takes you back into town via some small country roads, which is nice. So if you want something different than just a rail trail back, you've got some options. So we've climbed 1,600 feet in about, I believe it said 12 miles. And after this, it's mostly downhill. It's downhill to dirt, and then downhill to pavement. Yeah, this should be it. No, okay, one last small ride. Okay, this time I believe we're at the top. 12 miles, just a hair under 1,700 feet of climbing. Yo juro, esta es la cima. Sí, vamos. So from here, we're going to be coming up from the top, from above Santa Pelaya, looking off to the left here in between the trees. You start to catch glimpses of it. And the last part's like super steep. I think it's like 14-15% on loose gravel, which is not the best on the gravel bike, but on this bike, a lot more comfortable. Yeah. I think even on this, I'm a little cautious. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Not the best descender in the world, or climber. Again, not really a cyclist, I guess. Okay, a little chunky. And there is Santa Pelaya. Typically when we do a road loop, we'll go over L's and connect to this, or climb up this and descend. But here, we did the dirt. All right, so hopefully you like this kind of dirt variation to get to Santa Pelaya. All right, the camera's got 3 minutes of record time and not much battery. So I think I'm just gonna ride and run this out, show you a little bit of this paved descent, or as much as we'll get to see with the time we have. Let me know what you guys think of this format of the video. It could probably completely bomb, or it could do well. I hope it gives you guys some insights into the channel, you know, the stuff I think about. You know, I get the clickbait complaints, but the trade-off is I don't do that. I don't make enough money to keep the channel going, and there are no videos. So when I look at it, you know, in the big, grander scheme of things, I think it's a net positive. You have to deal a little bit with the cringe, and maybe you might not like the framing, but in each video I do try to put some useful information and make it entertaining. I guess that's all I wanted to say. So I've been thinking about a lot that's been going through my head, especially as the channel turned 18 and I turned much older than the channel. I mean, this channel is basically my child, I guess, which is which is weird and depressing. But yeah, it's a good record of our life the last 18 years. All that to say, if you guys like the videos, want to see the channel to keep going, you guys know what to do. If you're coming to Girona, pick up our ride guide, pick up some merch, or the best way to do it really is to join our Patreon. It allows us to have a budget. You know, the big limiting thing for us is having a budget to travel. That is by far our biggest expense. You know, it costs money to go to shows, to go to the US. Like, we'd love to do a video series on all the cool British touring bike shops, delve into that history, but travel's expensive, it's time away, it's time I'm not making other videos to bring the money coming in. And those videos, you know, there's a big risk that they'll not do well. So we could have spent all that time and effort, make a great video, but it doesn't justify the investment. That's it for this video. Check out the links below if you want to support the channel. As always, keep the supple side down.